Did you call bank? I called game.
What's good, podcast world? What's good, YouTube? Back for another episode of Charging to the Game Sports Podcast. Got Big Z in the house. And as you can see, we're joined by a very special guest. Current basketball star Alisa Wiggins is joining us, and she's going to talk to us about her current college basketball career, her basketball journey, and a lot of other things, even some NBA action. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave some comments, and things of that nature. Jay will be joining us in a few seconds. So don't be surprised if you see a guy with glasses pop his head on the screen. He's back for the first time in a long time. But wow, always happy to have the big guy back. But Alisa, how you doing? And thank you so much for joining us on this episode.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
No problem. So I know this is probably the off season for you. So what's going on? What are you doing currently? So what are some of the things that you're doing currently to stay in shape? And what are you doing right now in the off season?
Yeah, currently I've just been training really hard every day, working on my endurance and cardio, trying to put on a little bit of weight, but mostly just training. And I also am in an internship right now back home.
Oh, nice.
So I'm doing some of that and having some really quality time with my family who I haven't seen in a long time. So, just keeping in shape and getting to work.
That's nice. I'm happy to hear that. So I heard you say, you're spending some family time and things like that. So tell us a little bit before we get into your journey and everything like that. Can you tell us a little bit about your early life, your early basketball career? Were you always great at basketball? I know we're known for seeing you on the court and, hooping and things like that. But tell us a little bit about your early childhood and just your early sports life in general.
Yeah. So early on, I really wasn't a basketball player. My first love was soccer.
Soccer, really?
Yeah, I love playing soccer. It's so funny. My brothers, so I have a brother that's 2 years older than me, and they were the basketball stars. And another brother that's 4 years older than me. So they played basketball, and I never played. I always played soccer. And then one day I just decided, I was like, well, I'm always coming to the practices, so I might as well play.
Right.
And I think that was in the fourth grade. I started playing basketball, and I just kind of had a really natural feel for it. I could dribble, I could shoot, everything a little bit higher than the basics at that point.
Right.
So when I got to about fifth and sixth grade, kind of had some conversation with coaches, and they were like, if you take this seriously, you can get a scholarship.
Really?
Yeah. And so from that point on, I started training every single day for basketball. Nice, every day. And I did that while playing soccer. So I still love that I was able to do both. But my mom was a little torn because she had to go to all these different games. Like me.
You burning up all the gas money. You eating up that lady's gas money. So shout out to mom, first of all, man. Hey.
Yes. Without her and my uncle, it would have not have been possible. Yeah. But yeah, it was really nice early on just to be able to travel and go see my brothers play and train with them. That really helped me in my game. Training with guys really just made me have a natural feel for playing and really helped me excel when I got older.
That's beautiful, man. So two sport athletes. So a soccer player turned basketball player. Like you said, you grew up with two older brothers that, did you learn and pick up any skills from them, or were they good at basketball themselves, or were they just kind of good?
Yeah, my oldest brother, he was kind of good. He wouldn't say that, but he wasn't the star of the family, but he was really good at defense. So I was like, okay, I can take that part of the game from him. And then my other brother, Jordan, he was really good shooter. Okay. So I kind of just studied watching him shoot and watching him play, and that really helped me kind of put both of those aspects into how I play. So it was really awesome.
Okay. All right, cool. So Jay, man, I see you in the building, man. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm all right. I'm hot.
Where you at right now, man?
I'm actually in PG.
Oh, okay, PG. So for the people that don't know, I mean PG County, Maryland, man. So hey, there's something in the water, like you said. Check that out, Kevin Durant. But yeah, man. We joined by Alisa, man. But so Alisa, so tell us a little bit about your high school career. So obviously, like you said, you grew up playing soccer. You segued that into playing basketball. You built a love with that. So what was high school like for you? I know you said your coach said if you keep this up, you can really, do something with yourself and get a scholarship. So tell us about your early high school careers all the way up until your senior year. But even the AAU circuit, if you played in it.
Yeah. So coming into high school, my freshman year, I trained really, really hard and was able to make the varsity team for basketball my first year. And that was very special for me. Just not only making a team at Montclair High School, wanting to play. At the time, I don't know if you know, Maisha Hines-Allen, who currently plays for the Washington Mystics, was my teammate.
What? Oh my God. Yeah. Shout out to her because we like I said, we're a DMV based podcast. So
she plays for the big homies. Montclair, New Jersey. Yeah. So having an All-American on my team, I was very like, okay, I can't be whacked. So having that experience was really awesome. Like having an older player who played at Division I level and, at that time was having NBA, WNBA aspirations was like awesome to play with. So my freshman year was really, I was more so of a role player on the team.
Right.
But I did get in a lot of action, playing a lot of games. So I was just really like a learning process.
Right.
And sadly that year we made it to the championship final of the state and then lost on a buzzer beater.
Buzzer beater? Really? So it's like a storybook ending type.
Yeah. It was definitely a year to remember, but the end was tough. But it was a great first year for me. And while I was doing that, all throughout my career, I played soccer in high school.
Yeah.
So my sophomore year of high school, I made the varsity team for soccer. And I did really well that year, like played really well. We won the state championship for soccer.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah. So I was on the state championship team. And then I was like, all right, now we got to get one for basketball. Because soccer, I was like, this is not even my first sport. And we were winning championships, playing good. So for basketball, my sophomore year is, I would say, one of the most pivotal that I saw changing my game. Okay. To my sophomore to junior year, I think I scored about 500 points in one season. Yeah. So that's kind of when I shifted the gears and was like, my playing style up to that point was very like facilitative and, like being a good traditional point guard.
Got you.
But for college, kind of nowadays, everybody wants a scoring point guard.
Score, yeah. So you had to show them.
Yeah. So
you had to put the Michael Jordan on them.
Yes.
For the Michael Jordan.
Yes. So I started scoring more, and up to that point, I was also playing AAU in the offseason.
Okay.
So it was very crazy for me. Yeah, I'm doing AAU. I'm still playing soccer. I still play basketball. I still got to do chores. It was nonstop.
She still got to do chores.
Yeah.
Can't get chores.
So the AAU team that I played for, we didn't play on a large circuit as a lot of, I want to say brand-based AAU teams, the Adidas, the Nike sponsored ones. But we were able to fundraise and go to one major competition a year.
Nice.
And the end of my sophomore year, we went to a major competition and I played really well. And that's when I started seeing scholarship offers come in for me for basketball. Because up to that point, I didn't have any offers.
Okay.
So that was really exciting for me. I was like, wow, you work hard. This is what happens. Kind of keep pushing. And up to that point, I'm 100% healthy, no injuries, just playing really well. Then my junior year came.
Nice.
And it was kind of tough because everybody knows junior year, like you need to have pretty much your school solidified because they start recruiting the following year. They don't recruit seniors traditionally. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So up to that point, I'm training around the clock, like both sports, going. And I did track that season.
Oh, you did track? We just had a track. What did you run? No,
I didn't run. I did high jump.
Oh, you were the high. Oh my
Uh,
God! Hey,
Yeah,
you
I didn't
just had a
track
high
that
jump on our
season.
last show too.
Oh wow! I literally the coach for the team was like, "Can you high jump for us?" And I was like, "I never tried it, but okay."
all right, whatever.
She must have saw you
Yeah,
grabbing the rebounds.
yeah, and I was okay. I was okay. It was, it was something to do, but yeah, my junior season basketball went really well. But my first season for soccer, I got injured and ended up partially tearing my ACL.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that was tough for me. Up to that point, I've never had a major injury like ever.
Yeah.
But I literally told my mom I didn't want to have surgery because it would have kept me out the whole year.
Right. So just let it heal, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I sat out half of the soccer season, and I was like, I just got to get ready for basketball. And it healed, but not completely because I was always training, like always playing on it. But I was able to play. So I played that season, did really well. And now my senior year comes. I wasn't able to play AAU though.
Right.
Because my injury was kind of nagging, and sometimes I could play, sometimes I couldn't.
Right.
AAU, I wasn't able to play. And from that standpoint, that hurt my recruiting. Because I think I went to a couple tournaments and I couldn't play. And the coaches are like, why isn't she playing?
Right.
And you kind of like, you don't always want to say, like, I have an injury that's this bad.
Yeah, you don't want to put it out there because then they look at you like you're damaged goods almost. Yeah.
Exactly. So it was kind of hard from that point. Some schools kind of were like, okay, we're not gonna keep your scholarship because we don't know. And then some were like, okay, we'll take a chance. And then my senior year came, and for basketball, that at that point the caliber of our team wasn't as good as it was my freshman year. But I was like, you know what, I just gotta do what I do. Like, I really wanted to get a scholarship to a Power 5 school. I really wanted to, be that player. And I ended up scoring my 1,000 point that year.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so I was super happy. We didn't win. We went to state, but we didn't win the championship. But it was a great ending for me for my high school career. Same with soccer. We won the county tournament, didn't win the championship, but it was still a great ending to my high school career overall. So it was really a journey. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Like you said, it just goes to show you, man. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that happened along the way. Like you said, you battle with the injuries and, everything like that. So, but I actually should have started off with this. So where are you from exactly? So give a shout out to your home. Where are you from? Where high school did you go to? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm from Montclair, New Jersey.
Okay, New Jersey, stand up. New Jersey in the building.
Yeah, I went to Montclair High School. Some pivotal people. I mean, Maisha Hines-Allen for the Mystics. She went there. A lot of other people. I don't know. Kyrie Irving was at our rival school. He went to the Montclair Kimberly Academy. So this was a little bit before my time, but my mom was like, yeah, we'd go to high school and see them play. So some people out from Montclair, some sports fanatics. Yeah.
All right, so shout out to them. So tell us a little bit about your recruiting process. So like you said, your senior year, you lead and score, scored your 1,000th point, got a few offers. What offers did you have, and what was your why did you select, ultimately you ended up going to Kansas State, right? So what made you choose Kansas State, and what was before then, what other schools were you interested in, and what other, colleges were you interested in?
Yeah. So before then I was interested in Florida Atlantic. That was one of my main contenders. They had the perfect sports program for me, and also academically, kind of everything that I wanted to do. I had a couple of schools from the Northeast area, some small, mid-major schools talking to me and was close to offering, but didn't offer. And then I think it was Vermont, Brown, Florida A&M.
Those are big schools.
Yeah. So it was a couple schools like that. And then Kansas State came at literally the 9th hour.
That's how it always happens, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It was July at this point. And I kind of, was having conversations with my mom, and I was like, I didn't really want to go here. I didn't really want to go here. And then we were about to just be like, okay, like pick one, you have to pick one. And then Kansas State, I reached out to them, and they got right back out to me. And they were like, you can come on a visit this weekend.
Nice.
And I think I talked to them on a Thursday and left that Friday to go to Kansas and to go see them. So I had an official visit, stayed there for the weekend, and I just had a feeling. I was like, this is home. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
I like that.
Yeah. So it was so surreal how quick everything happened. But happy it happened that way.
That's good, man. I love hearing like people's just recruiting stories. Like I said, I'm sort of kind of similar situation. I played Division I sports, athletics, highly recruited, went through the process. I didn't deal with injuries, but just the recruiting process, period. And just know how, much it means to people, athletes, and just families in general. And I like how you pointed out that you said Florida Atlantic was one of your top colleges that you were considering because of academics, not only, sports, because I think a lot of things that get lost in the shuffle is the academics. And, it even shows in your career. Like, you're a 3-time, I'm looking at your stuff right now, 3-time Big 12 Commissioners Conference honor roll student, 2018 Big 12 academic rookie on the team, 2019 academic Big 12 first team, and 2020 academic all Big 10 second team selection. So, like I said, it just goes to show you. I mean, like I said, you got the accomplishments to prove it. It's you're a student athlete. I think a lot of people forget that it's not just about being an athlete. The student part, I guess, almost comes first. You know what I mean? Because I know they have you guys doing a lot of stuff. And, I'm going to ask you some stuff about, what is the day in the life of a student athlete like? And I know they're long because I've done it. But yeah, so like you said, you ended up going to Kansas State. So tell us about your freshman season and just your time in general at Kansas State. And like you being from Jersey, like what, like Kansas? Like
I
really?
know.
You know what I mean? Like you from up north, so it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. You stick out like a sore thumb. So
yeah. My freshman season was awesome. Definitely, everybody's like the Jersey girl in Kansas. But when I got there, so when I visited, the only people on campus at the time, it was in the summer, so it was the student athletes and my teammates, especially. I just felt that connection, like something that I was missing that I needed to be a part of, and the school overall, the demographics didn't really bother me. So I was like, this is where I need to be. And Kansas, it's true. There's not anything there.
She says not anything there.
It's Manhattan, Kansas. So the Manhattan
it is. It's the little apple. That's what they call it. But so when I got there, it was very hectic because they were preparing to go to Europe.
Oh.
And this was so every 4 years they have a European tour.
Yeah.
And it just so happened the year that I came, that was their European tour. So I remember coming there and getting all packed, and they're like, okay, we need to get you ready as far as like up to pace with the rest of the girls playing wise and practicing so you can compete with us. Because we played 4 games in Europe against professional teams.
Oh my God. So you're playing your college students playing against professional European players.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So what was that like? Like, were you or any of the girls intimidated?
I think we weren't, more so we weren't intimidated. We were just excited about the opportunity to play against these women and just to have the opportunity to be out there. Yeah. So it definitely was an experience. One team we played twice. We were a little intimidated because we were like, we got to play them 2 times, the same team twice. Yeah. And we won 1 game and lost 1 game, so it was okay. But that was definitely like super crazy, for me, because normally the summer is kind of the off season to get better, to work on the skills, to work on, improving your game. Mm-hmm. But that summer coming in, we did a lot of teamwork as far as 5-and-5, up and down, working on sets, which is traditionally not what you're doing. So it was very fast paced switching from high school to college. I was like, okay, you have to flip a gear. And that first year for me was good because I was able to make that transition and get some playing time here and there in the games.
Right.
So it was really cool. We had a lot of senior players who were really experienced, who played majority of the games. But my freshman class, we had some really highly recruited players.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I had any stars or any recruiting numbers. I just knew I knew how to play basketball. But so some of those players who won more major circuits, I think, was like top 50 in the recruiting class, top 60. So we had some pretty good freshmen coming in. So that freshman year for us as a team, we weren't the best team, but we really had some promising players to develop. And so for me, that led into my sophomore year. But at the end of my freshman season, I re-injured my knee.
Okay.
And had to have surgery at the end of the season.
Oh, wow. What was that like? This is your first major surgery at that time, right?
Yeah, that was my first major surgery. So at that time, I was a little scared just because I'm like, okay, I've never had surgery before, like on anything up to this magnitude.
Yeah.
So the recovery process, I think, was harder than the actual surgery.
Yeah.
Because for college, college athletes, once you have surgery, like pretty much the next day, I was in training room, like rehabbing. Yeah. So there's no time off. I mean, like you're in rehab every day.
It's grueling, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a process. And like, thankfully for me, my recovery was only, I think, 2 months. 2 months, I was full go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really
so it was pretty quick. But from a basketball standpoint, it was kind of like I was behind 2 months, in training aspect. Yeah. So our sophomore season came, and we had our next recruiting class, the incoming freshmen, were like top players. They were top players in the women's basketball game. So some of the players, like myself, I was coming from injury. I didn't see much playing time in the games because of that, coming from injury. And our point guard at the time was All-American point guard. So it was really more so of a learning season for me, like learning how to see the game and learning the sets and kind of learning the coaching aspect behind it. Was really good for me. Super good. And then my junior season came, and that's when after my sophomore season, I had another surgery. That was my second surgery up to that point.
What was it on? Just the same knee?
No, it was on the opposite knee this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a surgery on my left knee and then my right knee. And then my junior season, after my second surgery, it never healed properly.
Right, yeah.
So I played up until, I want to say December, just probably like the beginning point of the season. And that's when we kind of I had to talk with my head coach and the coaching staff, and they thought it would be better if I sat out and didn't waste the year.
You're right, yeah.
Trying to play, and they were like, we want you to get healthy enough where you can go 100%. So then they pretty much shut me down. I had another surgery to try to correct the issue, which it did correct it, and it did help me.
That's good.
But my junior year, so I redshirted.
So
I was able to retain that year back.
That's nice. So ultimately, you have 2 years of eligibility left to play.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that season, I didn't play. I was just really pretty much kind of like an assistant coach. I'd come to the games, write some things down, And that season, too, my couple other girls in my class, it was 4 of us in total that redshirted for the entire season. So it was kind of interesting. They're like the whole junior class is injured.
Yeah, well, at least you weren't by yourself. You know what I mean? It kind of sucks when you're injured. And you're like, you're the only person hurt, and everybody's out there, and you know what I mean. It's difficult, but at least you had somebody by your side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, It was tough, but I had 4 of my best friends. Like we all did rehab together, all worked hard, and was able to recover, which was great. And then COVID hit.
Oh my God! Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So tell us about COVID in general. Tell us about the initial. What were you hearing? What were your expectations with COVID? And then ultimately, how did it affect your college basketball season and if at all your career, do you think?
Yeah. So the first time I heard about it, I think we were on a plane going to the Big 12 tournament.
Oh my gosh.
So at that point, we're traveling, we're going to the tournament, we're hearing like whispers of COVID. No one really knew. I mean, some medical people were saying it's like the flu. Some people were like, no. So nothing was definite. So at that point, all of our plans were still in place. So we end up being in Kansas City for the Big 12 tournament.
Okay.
And, we were watching our men's team play at the time, and they make an announcement on the PA system, and they say, everyone who is not playing has to exit the arena. And we're all like, that's really strange. Like, this must be really serious.
Exactly.
Because we even had to leave, and normally you could just watch the men's team, whatever.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, that, maybe they're just being safe. And then the next day we were practicing on the court for our game the following day. And our athletic director came up to us and said, the tournament is canceled.
Wow. So at that point, when you hear the tournament is canceled, like, what were your thoughts on that? Like, man, this is serious, right?
Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is serious. I think up to that point, I think our head coach told us, like, it's never been canceled, like, ever. The tournament has never been canceled. Not only that, then we found out, I think a week or two later, the NCAA's was canceled.
Right.
And that's when we were like, wow, like, the season is over. Like, that wasn't even, like, for our seniors, I felt so bad. It wasn't even an ending. It just like, they just cut it off.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because for me personally, so we flew back to Manhattan. And at this time, some states were in COVID deeper than others.
Right, yeah.
And I know specifically for New Jersey, they weren't allowing people to come back into the state.
Oh, so if you were out of state, then you couldn't come back in. Yeah, I remember that. So, yeah, okay.
So I couldn't go back to New Jersey.
So you had to stay on campus.
Yeah, so I stayed in Kansas for the whole, I want to say, from March 2020 until July. Yeah, by myself.
March 2020 until July?
Till July 2020, yeah.
Oh my God, that's months.
It's months, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a minute.
Yeah, so it was definitely kind of, it was scary for me because I'm like, I don't know. We didn't know the magnitude of how bad it was. You just hear whispers of what's going on, but it didn't affect me personally at all. And so I just didn't know. So at that point, it was crazy too, because that's when I was thinking about transferring.
Yeah.
Because up to that point in my career, I loved Kansas State. I loved the program. But for me, I just wanted to play more personally. I wanted to really develop my game as far as playing and getting into the games, and, having that opportunity was important to me. So I just had a couple talks with the staff, and, we kind of all came to the conclusion, like, okay, this, if you want to do this, we can do it. We can help you. So transferring during COVID, that's even worse.
I can only imagine. So tell us about that process. Like you said, transferring during COVID, and ultimately, where were you transferring to?
Yeah. So ultimately, I ended up transferring to the University of Northern Colorado. But that process was very difficult for me because, as you know, like, at the time you couldn't visit any schools.
Yeah.
No face-to-face interaction. You had no idea what the campus looked like.
Yeah. So you just got like a shot in the dark, really.
Yeah.
It's like word of mouth.
Yeah. Anybody, like the head coach, I would talk to them and talk to the staff, and then, talk to a couple players. But, that was really it.
Yeah.
And try to make a decision from there. For me, I had a couple schools reach out and give me offers. I had Eastern Washington, Florida Atlantic, Chicago State. And then when UNC came, it was one of the programs that I liked the most because they had my major. They had
what's your major?
Kinesiology, but I got a degree in exercise science, sport and exercise science.
Nice. So you already have your degree now?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So I ended up transferring to UNC based on the education and the team. I really loved the team, like talking to the girls. I was like, okay, this is a team that I could see myself fitting into. And then the opportunity to play was there.
Right.
So that part was probably just the hardest for me to make a decision. I was like, I don't know anything really about the school. I don't really know how it feels being there.
Right.
I just got to kind of just take a leap of faith and go for it.
Yeah.
So when I ended up on campus, my family came down. They came down when the ban was lifted and they were able to fly out. And we drove to Colorado from Kansas.
Okay. Is that a far drive?
It's only 8 hours.
Really? Man, only 8 hours. That's
I know. I just drove from Colorado back to New Jersey. So that's what I'm saying.
What type of drive is that?
That was 2.5 days, 29 hours.
Oh, yeah, my drive from here to Texas.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that's where I'm like, only 8 hours.
Yeah, man. I could not do that. Anything, honestly, for me, this is a little off topic, over 5 hours. I hated long trips. I hated long plane flights. I hated long car rides. But that's either here or there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, my family came down, and actually, this is just a little side bit. But during COVID, I was like, well, this is a great time to get a dog. And I got my dog. His name is Rambo. He's awesome.
Okay.
So they picked me and the dog up, and we drove to Colorado. And that was like my first time seeing it. I was like, all right, this is where I am for the next, couple of years or so.
Yeah.
And it was really strange just because being there, we couldn't. Now, COVID, this is when I really felt COVID was still like real.
Yeah.
That was probably the hardest time I had, not being able to interact with people.
Man, yeah, because you can't see nobody, you can't do nothing.
No, and even as a team, so we get on campus and the team, we couldn't even meet together as a group. Everything was on Zoom, which is cool, but like you want to see your teammates, like.
Yeah, you want to interact with people.
Yeah, and for basketball, I mean, it's only 15 of us. So, like, if you're not really seeing them, for the most part, you're not really seeing anyone.
Exactly.
So we weren't able to see each other. And when we started workouts, we started at the end of July. But then we had not a COVID case, but a scare. It was a close contact.
Oh, okay.
So they actually sent everyone back home. And for me now, I'm like, okay, I can't. Oh, I had my dog. Yeah. And I was like, I can't fly home now. So I just had to stay there. It was only 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just stayed for a couple weeks. Yeah. And then they told us to return back to campus and we could start playing. When we started playing, we had to work out in groups.
Okay.
So we couldn't work out together. I think the limit was only 6 people in the gym total. So I think, yeah, so it was like 4 players and 2 coaches, or however they like to, yeah. So it was like that for a while. And that was like, like the only time I would see a teammate is like if we're passing by going to the workout, I'd be like, hi. Yeah. But yeah, the rules at UNC, pretty much everywhere were being really strict as far as keeping that social distancing and, really following the rules. Because at the school, they put in a mandate. It was like, if you're not wearing your mask on campus, like you're out of the university.
Wow. We mean literally kicking you out?
Yeah, literally kicking you out. And it did happen to a football player at that time. It was
why they gotta be football though? Why they gotta be football?
I know.
Come on, man.
But they were super strict. So for some reason, we made it through the summer and we got to actual season. So around November, we made it without any cases. We're like, okay, we're in the clear for the first part. Yeah. So we were able to practice. As the county was changing their rules, we were able to practice as a team, getting closer to the season. So that was good. Everybody's able to practice. But they still told us it was very frustrating for us because we had to wear a mask practicing.
Oh my God! What type of mask were you wearing?
At first, any mask you had, but it was so frustrating because you know how like if you need to breathe, you just pull it down.
That's the breathing part. Like
you could not do that, and we're like running sprints, like running, and they're like, "Don't pull down your mask." So I'm like, "Okay." So
are you kidding me? That's crazy.
It was really tough. And then they got us I don't know if you've seen them, the Under Armour like breathable kind of mask.
Yeah, I've seen them. Did those work?
No, they were not breathable.
Then you suffocate yourself. You out here looking like a scorpion in Sub-Zero.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
It was literally, I was like, this is like terrible. But, they tried to, it took a while for us to really explain it to the athletic director. Like, this is very hard. Like, this is not like the typical season. So we need at least like more breaks or something because.
Yeah. Did they slow down some of like the conditioning drills? Did that slow down at all?
No.
Come on, man. I mean, they try to kill y'all.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But we finally made it to the season, so we're like, all right, at least not anymore like running like that.
Yeah.
But we made it to the season. We start playing games. Now the games, it was very interesting to see how everything was kind of being, how the games were even being played because, teams would come to us. This season, how we would normally do, you come to us and then we come to you later in the season.
Right, like a away at home game, right?
Yeah, this year for COVID, to cut down on travel, and I think just having that back and forth, they did two game stretches. So like if we went to an away opponent, we played there on Monday and we played on Wednesday.
Right.
Back to back. Yeah. So we wouldn't. Yeah. So it kind of, I didn't really mind because I liked playing the same team. It gave you like time to, like change your game plan. I think it really came to coaching and like changing your game plan to see like what kind of adjustments you can make. And they're still fresh in your mind. So you kind of know how that team plays. The only thing that was worse was like the trips were like a week instead of like 2 days. So, so if I was gone, it was like the entire week. And for school, that was like kind of tough. Just getting like making up the work and stuff.
Yeah.
So we started traveling and playing games and, on the sidelines, everyone had to wear their mask. There was even some times in the game, girls came, they checked into the game with the mask on, didn't even know. We're like, I think I told one girl on the other team, I said, your mask is on. She's like, and I'm like, no, we're playing. It was so weird. Like everybody's like, we started playing games, and that was the fortunate part for us. We were able to play almost every game this season, which credit to the medical staff and just the girls, everybody doing what they needed to do, and just just being safe. But we did have some scares as far as close contacts. And one game specifically, the opponent, one of the girls was, I don't know if she was sick or somebody said she had anxiety. So her way of like dealing with that was vomiting.
Oh my God.
For us,
they gotta get her out of there. No, they gotta get her out of there.
For us, we saw her. She did it like right, like I want to say like in a garbage can, but like right on the court, and everybody's like, "Oh no!"
Oh no! Yeah,
we
game canceled. Get her ass out of here.
They canceled the game, and we were like,
"I bet they did."
That team, the whole season, that team was mad. They were like, "Those are the punks. Those are the scared ones." They were like, "She's disgusting. She didn't even wash her hands."
Right. That's gross.
Yeah, that was crazy. Wow. But we had to test. I mean, in a regular week, we had to test 3 times.
Yeah,
depending on when the games were, and then before and after every game. So throughout the season, I think I've gotten tested over 200 times, and it's a nose swab. So those ones, I was like, this is so painful.
Right, your nose just you're getting irritated. Just getting violated. You know
just to play,
so violating your thoughts.
We tested so many like coming home from trips, and they're like, you still have to test, and it's 1:00 in the morning. I was like, oh, please, no, it's just not. And that was the theme of the season, though. But we were able to play almost every game, so I think they did a great job with that. And then it kind of came to our tournament time at the end of the season, and that was really strange for me because the tournament is like the best part of the season. Everybody's a team, and it was so weird. We had to wear these trackers, these tracking devices.
A tracking device? Where do you wear it at? Like
around
your neck or some shit?
Basically, they had us wear a lanyard, and it had like a square in it. That was the tracking device. And so if you came in contact closer than 6 feet with somebody, the tracker starts beeping. it starts like saying like BB,
Wow.
like get like move away. So that was like the most annoying part. And it's like, even if we were in the lounge, like eating next to each other, you couldn't be 6 feet. You couldn't be that close.
Man.
So, and it was like, it was too much. And then during the game, they had us wear the trackers.
Oh my God.
But
During the game too?
I'm like, what do we, they wanted to track, I guess, you know, if you're close contact with somebody in 15 minutes, that time period, then say if she did pop a positive, then this person would also have to be quarantined.
Man,
But it was just a lot.
Yeah.
It was just a very different experience for me because like I've been to the tournament twice, and it was just completely different from that. So everybody was kind of relieved when the season ended. Because not only, you know, we were blessed to be able to play and to be able to compete, but I think mentally this season was probably the hardest for everyone. Right. Just, you know, it was very like you can't go anywhere. It was basketball 100% of the time.
Right.
Which, you know, the coaches kind of did take advantage of the situation because we couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, there has to be that good balance. Yeah. And it really wasn't there this season. So a lot of people struggled just being, you know, being okay. And then we couldn't leave to see our families. Even if you lived, like, there's some girls that lived an hour away. They were like, no. Like,
they were like, no.
Yeah, they were like, no. And that's like, yeah, it's like, okay, that's like kind of messed up. But
yeah.
So it was tough. And then the season ended. When did it end for us? Probably the end of March. And I had to stay in Greeley to finish out my degree and stay for graduation.
Okay.
Yeah. So at that point, I was so happy because they lifted pretty much the COVID restrictions on graduation ceremony, and like my family was able to come and see me walk and everything.
That's good. That's a blessing.
So that's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
you know.
Yeah.
So, hey.
That's what mattered the most to me. I was like, this is amazing. And then at the end of the season, our coach resigned. Let's just say she resigned. And the whole staff changed. So a bunch of the girls, pretty much, I think it was like 10 of us that entered the transfer portal. Just looking to, you know, like I said, COVID, I think really impacted everybody, and everybody wanted to get closer to home.
Right.
And
yeah.
That's kind of one of my reasons for transferring. Like, I want to be back in the Northeast, want to be close to my family, because, you know, you just never know what happens. And,
you never know. You
know? So it's been a journey for me though, and through the ups and downs, it's been a lot of good times.
That's beautiful, man. Like I said, I just love hearing people's stories. I mean, even like your COVID story, man. Like it's just a lot, man. Especially being a college athlete and all the things that are going on. And I probably should have asked you this earlier. So are you a point guard or a shooting guard? So you what position do you play, both or what?
Primarily point guard. I mean, I can play shooting guard, but more comfortable playing the point, you know.
Okay, so you running the offense. You setting it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Rome, you didn't hear her? She said she was a playmaker first, man. She had to shoot later, you know.
She came out saying that she was a beast, you know what I mean? So I just had to make sure, you know. So, like you said, you're running the point. So just to give the people a general idea, like how tall are you? You know what I mean? So what are your schematics? Like height, weight?
Pretty much 5. Well, they list me at 5'8", but I'm 5'7".
That's still pretty tall though for a female. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's above average.
Yeah. So when you go ahead.
Yeah, like 5'7", 150. So, you know, pretty slim build, agile. Not really hops, but just very quick. I'll say I'm quick.
That's cool. Like I said, I just asked that just so people can get a joke, because we got a lot of people that listen to the show. We got young high school, you know, athletes that have aspirations of playing at the next level. So obviously you're a Division I athlete, so they might be like, hey, am I too short? Am I too big? Do I weigh enough? Do I don't weigh enough? So that just sort of kind of gives us an idea to some of our younger ladies in high school of what the build of a guard would be, you know. But man. So what are your goals for this upcoming season? Like, what are you looking to accomplish this season? Like you said, you've already graduated with your degree. How many years of eligibility do you have left now?
So I have 2 years left.
Nice.
Gratefully, yeah, because of the pandemic, the NCAA has gifted all student athletes back a year of eligibility. So that's where I picked up 1 year, and then I redshirted. So that's where another year came from. So it's a little strange for me because, in a sense, I know people on my last team was like, "You're the old lady," and I was like,
"Yeah,
I've been I've been around for a while, and I'll if I play my next 2 years, I'll be playing for 6 years, which college basketball age length, that's like being 40, but it's okay. I'm like, it's a blessing for me because that I'll be able to get my master's, and I want to go to physical therapy school.
That's nice. Yeah, it's
like if I can do that and get it paid for, I'm okay with being the old lady.
Hey, that's
why not?
Why not? So like you said, I mean, you got to use it. Use things to your advantage. I mean, like I said, they call it student athlete for a reason. I think a lot of people go to school and they love the athlete portion, but they forget, the student portion. Like I said, you're an academic All-American, so you have different values than other people. As opposed, I'm pretty sure you've seen people that along the way that dropped out or they just couldn't quite make the cut to be a Division I athlete, either athletically or academically. And everything. So so tell us a little bit about I guess anything else that you got going on now, and I guess like you said, just goals for the upcoming season.
So right now, I mean, I don't know if everybody heard, but the NCAA's passed the NIL, the name, image, and likeness.
I was just going to ask you about that. So do you got a deal coming through or what?
I have had 2 deals I've signed.
Nice.
So thank you. Thank you. I signed one with Enterprise student athletes, and basically it's a brand that promotes pretty much sportswear, clothing, pretty much whatever you need it in that area. And then another brand called Get Laced, which is a shoe brand who develops laces and different types of shoes. And so those are the 2 that I have right now. But I'm trying to develop my own image, and hopefully, within the next month, I'm dropping my own clothing line.
So can you give us any, the name, or you just want to wait? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna wait. Okay. But it's definitely. I will tell you, for the most part, it's gonna be geared toward female women's basketball players. I just feel like right now there's not a lot that is really geared towards female athletes and basketball players in general. So I'm just really, I want to make something that I would wear, and I would love to see other people just wear and smile about and be happy that this represents them. So I'm really excited about it, but that's something that I'm definitely developing right now. And then as far as my season and my goals, hopefully the next month I should know where I'm going to land, and I'm able to play and finish the career that, the way that I want to finish it. I definitely want to be first team something. Whatever it is.
I need you to, this is going to be a Jordan season, okay? Don't even pass the ball. Just be like Kobe. Okay?
Yeah. Yes. So hopefully, I want to be a really mainstream player. And, as far as future, I never really thought about having, league or overseas aspirations. My passion has always been coaching.
Nice.
So I really want to coach. I want to be one of those women that actually coach in the NBA.
That's good.
So that'd be hard.
After my playing career, I plan on getting into coaching and just working my way up.
That's beautiful, man. I think there's a lot of, former WNBA players and that are now getting into coaching. Maybe they got, older and they retired, and, they're getting into a lot of things. But back to the NIA thing, like I said, I'm happy to hear that because we just had an episode where we were talking about that. So what was the process for that? Did somebody reach out to you, or how did the deal happen?
So pretty much on my Instagram, my social media, they reached out to me. And, they asked me, look, we would love to partner with you. This is a process, kind of, what do you think? And I was like, sure. Let's make it happen. Why not? Yeah. And then pretty much happened the same way, that I've been trying to build my Instagram brand, and I have a lot of followers, but I'm like, now you can really take advantage of it and just kind of put that's how most people are making money on social media. So I was like, why not? And sometimes, if I see something or see a brand, I'm like, I'll just DM them and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you want to partner at the 7th, 3rd? And they say, yeah. And it's like, okay, we're in a good situation.
I like hearing about stuff like that, man. Like I said, because I thought for the longest time, like I said, we talked about it previously. I mean, there's been a lot of athletes that have come, before you guys that haven't had that opportunity. I'm pretty sure like I said, I've been on universities where they have literally the guy's jersey or the lady's jersey in the school store, number XYZ, what I mean? And you can't profit off of it. And
they don't get $1.
Yeah, they don't get $1. So ultimately, I like that they're getting paid for name, image, and likeness. But, I have a bone to pick with the NCAA. I'm not going to get you involved with it just because the fact that, like they just make so much money. You know what I mean? Like when you go to these games, these ticket prices are the same prices as professional, like you can go see University of Texas, a college team. And if you go see the local team in that town, the ticket prices are almost the same. You know what I mean? And it's going to the NCAA's pocket. But can you tell us like a day in the life of like a Division I athlete? You know what I mean? I usually always ask our guests when they come on if they've played athletically. Most of our guests have been athletic, like just the weights, the study hall, the practices. Like what time does your day start and end? Like just give us a normal day.
I need more detail. I need food. Food too. Yeah, everything. Food.
This past season, I'll give you two different. One for my UNC experience, and then one for my K-State. From UNC, this past season, my day started at 4 a.m. every day. So yeah, I had to get up at 4. Had treatment at 5 o'clock in the morning. I had after treatment, we started practice at 6. Practice from anywhere between 6 to 9:30 ish, something around that time.
Right.
And then I would leave, go straight to class. Sometimes I would leave practice early because I had classes that started like right as we were ending.
Right.
So I'll go to 2 classes back to back. I'd be done around 1:30, 2 o'clock. And depending, I would go grab something to eat. In the morning, I would make breakfast. I skipped that. But eat breakfast. It's good for you. Yeah. I know so many of my teammates would skip breakfast. I'm like, I don't know how you function. But
man, what are they fasting or something?
I don't know. A lot of girls just say it's too early. They can't eat, which it was early. But I'm like, how are you getting through a 4-hour practice?
Yeah.
Like, off of Skittles? But
all right.
I would eat lunch around maybe like 2, 3 o'clock, and it always Chick-fil-A. That's like my go-to.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're the best. What is your Chick-fil-A combo? What is your go-to?
I normally get the spicy deluxe meal.
I never had that. Is that good?
Yeah. So it's like the sandwich, the spicy sandwich.
Okay.
With like lettuce, tomato, and then cheese, and then
is it spicy? Is it spicy though? I don't like real spicy food.
It's not. Well, I guess it depends. To me,
the fact that you said that it's spicy, I don't like spicy. I ain't get it. The fact that she said she was like, it's not that spicy. Nah, I ain't fucking with it now.
That's it. No sir.
Yeah, it was one of my favorites. So I'd go to Chick-fil-A.
Okay. And
then in the evening I would have study hall. So 4 o'clock I had study hall for 2 hours, 4 to 6. And then pretty much after 6 o'clock I was free. But my bedtime was 9 o'clock.
Yeah, because you gotta wake up at 4 the next day.
I had to wake up so early. So pretty much I would just play with my dog, hang out, do homework. And then start the next day. And yeah, that was definitely the worst starts as far as like time wise in my whole career. I've never had 4 a.m. starts, but
that's
wow,
4 a.m.
And wait, I didn't put weights in there. So we had weights every other day. So that was like, it wasn't that bad though. It was like an hour. So I was like,
okay, all
right. But squeezing an hour between noon, depending on class schedules,
Yep.
But yeah, that was tough. And then at Kansas State, our coaches, they believed in sleep. So I was like,
okay.
I was like, yeah. They're like, sleep is important. I was like, I agree. So we would have practice at like 8 or 9 o'clock, which I'm like, okay, that's a good start. 9 o'clock. And then any practice you have, whatever time that is, and an hour before you have to be there for treatment. Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily if you're injured. You could just have like, you just feel like, oh, I need to get stretched, or I have a nagging, pain, and, I just need like some type of, something. You just come an hour before. Okay. Yeah, so that's when that started. And normally, so 9 o'clock, we go from 9 to about 10:30, 11. He kind of believed in short practices. So I was like, that's good too.
Yeah, me too.
The shorter the better, short and sweet. Especially during season. Yeah. Right. So we'd get in and out pretty early. But then the same thing, kind of, we'd go to classes, probably twice, like back to back, had a class back to back, ending around like 1 o'clock. We would come back for study hall. At K-State, I didn't have study hall. I was so like fortunate. If you have a certain like grade point percentage, you don't have it. So I was like, blessed. Only reason I had it at UNC is because I was a transfer, which I was like kind of annoyed with, but it's okay.
You're like, I'm Alisa Wiggins. I don't need this shit.
Yeah. It was okay.
You better check my bio. Okay, I'm academic All-American. You
right.
Yeah. So I would have study hall, or maybe not. And then we did have mandatory tutoring there. So that's whatever good class they felt like, if you didn't even, say it to them, they'll just give you a tutor for like one of my hardest was like biochem, biochemistry, and they'd be like, you have a tutor at 8 o'clock. So tutors would be like 7, 8, 9 o'clock.
In the evening.
But yeah, in the evening. Okay. But at K-State, they did provide meals for us, so I wouldn't have to go out and get food. I just go to what we had was called performance table, which is like basically like the dining hall for athletes.
Right.
And then you gotta eat, and they provided that. So I saved a lot of money doing that. I would go there and get my dinner and leave, and in the morning get breakfast and go. So those days were a little bit pretty chill.
Okay. All right, cool. Like I said, thanks for breaking that down. I know we're winding down more towards the end. We'll probably run over a little more of the hour. I had a few other questions, and I know that probably Big Z and Jay wanted to ask you. So I wanted to ask you, so who are some of your favorite players in the league? Like WNBA, NBA. Mm-hmm. Do you watch more WNBA than NBA basketball, or do you even watch those in general?
I would say I watch more WNBA than NBA.
Okay. Are you just saying that because you're a female?
No. Okay. I really find the
I'm just messing with you.
I find the W so entertaining, like especially from a Division I female athlete I can see, and I know a lot of players who like I've played against. Yeah. So now it's like, all right, like I might as well watch them. But probably my favorite WNBA players is like Diana Taurasi, Candace Parker, Sue Bird, some young Wnba.
Oh yeah, she's a monster. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, like Kennedy Carter, like some of those players really, some new, some old. Right. like a nice mix. And then NBA, I do watch a little bit NBA, but just not as much as I used to. Right. Yeah. I'm a big Lakers fan.
Oh man.
Been a Lakers fan since forever.
Okay.
So LeBron is going to be my number one.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to let you go into your little LeBron spiel in the NBA. Is he better than Jordan?
No.
Okay. All right. Do y'all hear this? Women's college basketball player. Okay. She even said it. So guys, please stop it. Okay.
I know. Yeah.
I just want to let people know. Okay.
That episode's still coming.
Yeah.
It's still coming.
Yeah, so I like LeBron and Lakers. Favorite players, not really. I mean, LeBron's at the top, and then I would say probably KD would be next for me.
Oh yeah, KD. Yeah, he's a monster.
No Kyrie from Jersey.
I mean,
Right
I don't like Kyrie.
You don't gotta
I
like
don't like
him
his
from his shit. I might not like him. She might have had a bad experience with dude.
I just don't like his attitude.
I know
But
it's mess with you, yeah. You want to be about to be on the move again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, well, from what it looks like, but hey, you know, he's a great player. But, hey.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, those are some of my favorites.
Okay. Jay, y'all have any questions for him?
You want to go ahead, Z?
No, I mean, thank you for joining us from, I guess, from this point, what reality
He cutting out
going
a
into the
little
second
bit.
time versus transferring the first time. Now you know that what that process is like. How has that helped you the second time?
Did you catch any of that? Because I know he cut out a little bit.
Yeah, I caught the ending part. So you're just asking basically how I see the different way in the second time around.
Second time around, yeah.
Yeah. It's very different now because now I know the process is like, instead of waiting for people to reach out to you, you need to actively go reach out to them. Because especially now with the portal, I don't know, you guys, you know, it used to be you had to sign a permission to contact.
Yeah, you had to sit out a year or something like that.
Yeah, and you had to sit out.
I never liked that because it would waste people's talent, and then you have to. If you're a Division I athlete, it's like okay, you can leave, but you got to transfer Wnba, Division II,
or JUCO or something.
Yeah, or JUCO or something like that. And it's just a waste of time. Where I just hate the fact that coaches get a job.
The school controlled where they went. They picked. They could ban them going to certain schools.
Yeah,
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now it's a lot like it giving more freedom to the athlete to pretty much control what they want to do. Like you enter the portal, coaches can reach out to you, and then you can transfer to any school. It doesn't have to. Usually it was like in conference you can't transfer, but now you can transfer in conference because that shouldn't be it shouldn't be blocked just because you want to go to another school in your conference. So this time around, I just basically have done better reaching out to people and just making sure they know who I am. Because right now, for women's basketball, it is insane what the portal looks like.
Oh, really? A lot of people want to transfer?
I think there's over 1,200 girls in there. 12 or 1,300.
All of that talent.
Yeah, and, you know, like now you can transfer without penalty. So a lot of girls are like, why not? You know, like, I transfer and go to a place I want to be, might as well. So it's a lot of people, and you know it's a lot of talent, but not everyone is going to get picked up, and I think that's the part that is tough. And now, like that's why you have to go, and that's why I'm going out and making sure I'm communicating with coaches and people, and just trying to get myself situated in what's best for me, and not doing what's best for anybody else. So
exactly. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're only responsible for yourself. You know what I mean? Especially like this, in this day and age. The last few questions I have for you were so obviously, I'm pretty sure you're watching the NBA Finals right now. So, what is your opinion on that? Who do you have winning? And what is your take on it so far? I know we kind of had like a little precursor, and you better say the right person. So now I'm just
she better.
Huh?
I do want the Suns to win.
Oh my god! Oh man!
I'm sorry. I like D-Book. I like Chris Paul. I love Chris Paul.
I like Chris Paul too, but Devin Booker, man.
I think it's the Suns' time.
Okay.
I mean, I like Giannis as a player too. I just think the Suns, I think they're a better fit for winning the championship as far as a team, and I hope they can win it and pull it out. But Game 5, I don't know.
Yeah, Game 5. Like, what do you think of Chris Middleton, man? He pisses me off. Like, this dude literally cooks you when he's at home, but when he's on the road, he give you like 10 off of like 5 of like 30 shooting. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me.
Well, I hope he shows up more consistently. I hope so.
Yeah, me too, man. So and then I guess my last few questions were, so tell us like your life outside of like basketball. Like what do you do? And then one of my last questions was like what type of music do you listen to, and so who are some of your favorite artists?
Okay. So outside of basketball, pretty much I really like to just spend time with my friends and family, and most of those friends I am like great friends with through basketball. So players on different teams and things like that. So I'll travel here and there to go see them. Like going to the beach. I like just having fun pretty much. And I do enjoy downtime because, through the season, you don't have a lot of that.
You don't get much, yeah.
You don't get much. But when I am out of season, I really like to just see people and just catch up and, have fun.
Okay. So who are some of your favorite artists, like music artists? Like what are you listening to?
Yeah. Favorite music artist, I would say Drake is up there.
Okay. Solid choice. Hey, it can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I like Drake, like Beyonce, Rihanna. I would say the Baby a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I really just feel like
nowadays.
Yeah. Just like R&B, hip hop, rap genre. That's what I like.
Okay. All right, cool. So hey, that wraps up our show. Anybody you want to shout out before hopping off? Oh, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead. Bro, you should have been gave you the opportunity to say. Now I want to say something.
Well, excuse me. You had Z. I thought you were going to throw the lob to me, but you just went straight to you. So I said, all right, cool. I only have one question. All right. So I feel like when it comes to basketball, swag is a big thing, right? So what was like your game time shoes? I need to know the accessories. Did they restrict accessories? What was your go-to? Was it away, home? Like I need to know all that.
Did you rock a headband? Did you rock the arm sleeve, leg sleeve? Or was you just like did you go straight generic like socks, shoes, nothing, no swag, nothing?
Okay, so as far as shoes, we all had team shoes, so you couldn't really swag it. You would just you had a choice to like one of three, and they were like kind of basic. So you're like, okay,
like grandma shoes, yeah.
Yeah, I usually like low tops. I just like plain and low tops.
Yeah.
But then as far as like swag, I always have an arm sleeve.
Okay.
Just always make sure I have an arm sleeve, and then I actually put on a little makeup just to feel like I'm
makeup.
Yes, because I mean, at least. When I played, we were like.
Don't it sweat off though?
No.
What? Makeup don't sweat off?
No, if you get the right stuff, it's sweat resistant.
Oh man, y'all just out here fooling people on and off the court.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Some of y'all don't look too good. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'm just fucking with you. No, you're beautiful. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just playing.
The previous comment has nothing to do with the Charge to the Game podcast. Those opinions are Rome's and Rome's alone.
Coming in and saving the pod. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I must say I had too much of a question. But Rome asked a lot, so I just needed to ask that one. I needed to know.
So with Get Laced, is it just shoelaces or what's the concept now? Is it just
their specialty is shoelaces. Okay. So they like customize shoelaces, but they also do I don't think they create their own sneakers, but they do like kind of just hooking you up with the sneakers and shipping them out with the laces. Nice. But yeah, mostly their laces is what
they added to the swag with the NIL.
Yeah, I know.
Anybody you want to shout out before hopping off, Alisa?
Just I guess shout out Montclair, and shout out Go Cats and Go Bears.
There we go.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Alisa. Great guest. Like I said, you're welcome to come on anytime. We'll probably have you going again at some point in time if you're interested. So, but like I said, great guest. Thanks for coming on. Love having you on. But hey, that wraps up our show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We checked in with Alisa Wiggins. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next show. Peace.